while ago, somebody did a study about why doctors get sued. And this is from the book Blink. How many of you have read Blink? Okay, so don't give away the punchline if you read it. And I'm figuring the people that did the study were probably lawyers because they had a lot of money and a lot of time. Because I thought it was really simple. Why people get sued, right? You go to see the doctor opens you up. Pardon me about the story here. And they start thinking about their golf game, and they close you up and leave a sponge in or something. A year later, you sue them, right? Right? So why do this study? Why do the study? Well, apparently there is no correlation between the number of times a doctor messes up and the number of times the doctor is sued. Zero, none, niente, nada, zilch, no correlation. All right? Have you ever watched the show House? Yeah. House? Okay. House always makes a perfect diagnosis, right? No. By the end of the show, he does. Yes, he does. How many times do you think he'd be sued? How about every single case he's in? All right, when they did the study, they tried to figure out why doctors were sued. If there's no correlation or causation between the number of times they mess up, what's it about? They looked at the time they spent with patients, no correlation. They looked at it and they finally figured it must have something to do with the relationship between the patient and the doctor. So they got permission to videotape patients interacting with doctors. And within 5 minutes of videotape observation, they could tell with 80% certainty, which is what, 1.5 standard deviations, something like that, which doctor was going to get sued, simply by observing video. Okay? And then the people that were doing the study said, we think this relationship is so deep, this relationship built between the patient and the doctor, that we can look at a shorter piece of videotape and predict. So they cut it down from 2 minutes to 1 minute to 30 seconds. They could observe the doctor interacting with the patient for 30 seconds and predict with 80% certainty who was going to get sued and who wasn't. And then somebody said, I think it goes deeper than that. Let's listen to audio tape. The doctor talking to the patient. 5 minutes of audio, 80% certainty. 2 minutes of audio, 80% certainty. 1 minute, 30 seconds. And then somebody said, I think it goes deeper than that. This relationship between the doctor and the patient, the doctor showing that they care about the patient, can be heard simply in the tone of their voice. And we'll demonstrate it. We'll go ahead and take this audio tape and wipe everything out except for tone. So here's what you hear. Oh, Or, Todd. 30 seconds. What does that have to do with selling when you can't see the whites of their eyes? We are, in essence, are we not, almost physicians prescribing a cure for our clients or customers? And if they don't learn to connect with us and we don't connect with them, how can we sell them anything? Especially when you can't see the whites of their eyes. So on the first page of your handout, you're going to see THC. No, for those of you from the 60s, that is not tetrahydrocannabinol. And I have no free samples. What does it stand for? Trust, help, and care. You have to find a way to touch your potential customer at a distance. It could be thousands of miles, and show them that you are trustworthy, that you can help them, and you do care. And let me give you some numbers to talk about how hard it is to do. When we talked about that doctor-patient relationship, videotape, and then audio tape, when you are communicating with people, only 7% of the power, and write this down, 7% of the power of your communication is in the words. You wonder why people don't read your emails? 7%. 38% is in tone. 55% is in body language. So when you're trying to touch people on the other side of the country, why would we want to market in Texas right now if we could? Anybody? Oil. They have money in Texas. Yeah, their economy is good. You want to call Oklahoma right now. You want to get bookings in Minnesota. How hard is it to get business in California? If you can touch people at a distance through picking up the phone and following up with an email or a letter or a CD or DVD, you can build business anywhere and become independent of the business cycle in your neighborhood. Okay? So that's why we want to study selling when you can't see the whites of their eyes. So you've written down, I hope, those numbers. All right? 7% words. 7% words. 38% tone. 55% body language. So how do we establish our trust and the fact that we're going to help and that we do care on the phone or through email or in a letter when they can't look in our eyes? How do we do that? And we'll give you some technology here. Capture attention in the opening. We have to speak the potential client's language. So if I'm talking to somebody and they're in the hospital business, these are words that I would use. Say, hi, my name's John Cameron. I'm the Effective Leadership Coach. And what I do is help people create a culture of accountability in their organization so they can focus on the patient experience. What does that mean? It means a tremendous amount to anybody in the hospital business, does it not? Yes. Do the rest of you go, huh? Okay. When I'm calling sales managers, what do I say to them? I will help your folks get rid of call reluctance so they're making more calls and doing a better job of it tomorrow. Okay? So you have to learn the language of your customer or client, and that takes time. It takes time. There is no shortcut. You have to pick up the phone, make some calls, you have to go to meetings, you have to learn their language, and then speak it when you call. That's one of the ways you build trust. What are some of the other ways you build trust? By telling stories. How many of you have success stories in your business? How many of you can tell a success story in your business in 12 seconds? You can. Oh, I worked with Joe. Joe over at the other place, his sales went up 15%. Okay? You have to tell a true story and one that relates to someone. Okay? The other way to build trust is by making very few promises and keep all of them. How many of you right now are cold calling to build your business? Show of hands. Oh, okay. How many of you are warm calling to build your business? Okay? You've got a card, you've got a letter, you've got a referral, something like that. How will you build trust with someone before you ever get a chance to see them or talk to them? How can you do it?
Give them a story.
Give them a story. Okay.
Be endorsed.
Be endorsed. Okay. What else?
Offer something for free.
Offer something for free to prove your worth. Okay. Fine. How about this? How many of you remember from your high school English class, you turned in a paper and your teacher gave it back to you and wrote on it, show, don't tell? Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Demonstrate your truthfulness and by the actions you take trying to acquire their business. How do you do that? I leave a series of voicemails. First one goes something like this. Hi, my name's John Cameron. I'm the Effective Leadership Coach. I want to help you create a culture of accountability in your organization through classes and keynote talks. And I hang up. What? I didn't leave a phone number? No callback? No anything? Nobody ever calls back on the first call, do they? Okay. Second call. Hi, my name's John Cameron. My phone number is, my email is, little message. My phone number is, my email is, little message. I'm going to call you back on Tuesday. Call back on Tuesday. Hi, my name is John Cameron. Phone number is, my name is, my website is. Joe over at XYZ Business used me with great effect. My phone number is, my name is. I'm going to call you back on Thursday at 10:17. I call back on Thursday at 10:16. I leave a message. I make one more promise, I keep it, and then I tell them, I'm not going to call you again for 6 months because I value your time and mine. And you might be too busy to take advantage of this service. So in the space of 3 minutes worth of effort, I have differentiated myself from everybody who's calling trying to acquire their business. I've made 4 promises. I've kept all of them. Do you think there's an opportunity for me to maybe earn their business in the future? Okay. So what we have to do is think of ways that we can show people that we're different. All right, so we're going to go fast like ninja. Who do you call? How many of you have successful customer relationships right now? Okay. Can you clearly define that customer so that you can go and buy a list of similar customers to call on? Can you? Okay. If you can, then here's what I'm going to tell you to do. Who do you call? Down at the bottom it says a great list is so important. How many of you have library cards? Okay. Go to library, sign in, go to digital services. Write it down anywhere, digital services. And then go to business. And then go to Info USA. And take the SIC code of the business that you have success with, look it up, download a list of 25 similar businesses for free, and start calling them. And do this every day for a couple of weeks. And if you're successful, then you go buy a list. This is what I'm doing is giving you 20 minutes of what's somewhere between a day and a week-long course, so bear with me a little bit. Voicemail we already talked about. Let's go ahead to the next page where it says, how do I do it process? It says, great list. Told you how to get a good test list. And then the right thing to go do is go to Info USA or another good list provider and buy a list from them. Okay? You don't want to take 25 free leads from somebody every day for the rest of your life because it builds bad karma. Even if you can do it, pay for that list. So why does it say Carnegie Hall? How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Okay. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. You wouldn't dream of jumping in the pool on the 3-mile swim that's part of your marathon, part of your triathlon, without having practiced a little bit, would you? Yet we will go out and make sales calls on people and send them emails and make phone calls to them without practicing. So if you want to get to Carnegie Hall, you got to practice. Pen and paper or QSS TMS, what does that mean? One of the things that makes picking up the phone and cold calling so hard and so effective, why do you think IBM does it, Microsoft does it, Cisco does it? Because it works. Why do you think some of us don't do it? Because it's hard. Well, now let's go back to page 1. No. QSS TMS is one of the calling programs that I like. It's a call tracker. QSS TMS is the system I use. I think it costs like $60 a month. There are other ones out there. I can talk to you about them. These guys happen to be an affiliate, which is why I put their name down, and also it's the one I use. Pen and paper is actually quicker than anything else. The only thing is what can't you get out of pen and paper? Metrics. Whereas if you have a calling system, you get metrics and you can start looking at your results. How many calls did I make? How many people did I talk to? How many voicemails? How many emails? How many calls back? How many of you, when you call and leave messages, have people call you back? I do. That's how I got North Bay. If you leave an effective voicemail, people will call you back. And I'm not saying do this exclusively, but how many ways are there to grow your business? You can direct sell, which is the most efficient and the one that most of us avoid. You can advertise. You can network. You can speak. You can write. Is there any other way? Referrals. Network, referrals. Okay. You got to start somewhere. And you can create business out of thin air if you're willing to pick up that phone or drive in your car and knock on doors. So thank you note. I am more and more convinced now that I'm going to go back to sending stuff out by mail rather than email. People get so much email now, even if they put your name in the address book, their assistant's probably going to delete it. Handwritten thank you note, one of the best tools I have.